Well, good morning, Southern Oregon, and welcome back to the Real Estate Show. So glad that you could join us again today. I'm Alice Lema. I'm a broker here with John L. Scott Real Estate in beautiful Southern Oregon. And today we're so excited to welcome now Commissioner Chris Barnett of Realty Executives from Josephine County. Chris is always our go-to person up there in Josephine County, and he is now one of the commissioners for Josephine County, and he brings a wealth of perspective. He's very funny, and now he has another dimension to his perspective for real estate. So we're so excited. Chris has agreed to join us again today and talk about what is happening in Josephine County. For now, let's jump into our local statistics while we're waiting for Chris to come into the studio. Jackson County prices year over year are up 17% this week. The average residential home in Jackson County is $529,767. The number of solds year over year in Jackson County were down 33% this week. We had 26 closings on SOMLS in Jackson County residential. The number of listings year over year in Jackson County this week were up 8%. We have 651 active listings on SOMLS in Jackson County this week. Josephine County prices are up 8% year over year this week. The average residential home in Josephine County is now $509,908. The number of solds year over year in Josephine County this week were down 40%. There's only 6 closings in SOMLS, Josephine County this week. Number of listings year over year in Josephine County are up 9%. We now have 321 active listings on SOMLS in Josephine County's residential market this week. Klamath County prices year over year are up 33% this week. The average residential home in Klamath County, a whopping $409,500. Number of sold year over year in Klamath County are down 12%. There are only 7 closings in Klamath County SOMLS residential market this week. The number of listings year over year in Klamath County are up 34% this week. There's 284 active listings on Klamath County's SOMLS residential market this week. So folks, you can see we have a continuous stream of new listings coming on the market, but I caution you that there are still not enough homes on the market in Southern Oregon to meet the buyer demand. Now, I know it's been a weird couple of years. We're coming out of it now. We're stabilizing. So get a hold of your local agent. Talk to somebody about getting your house on the market, because even though we have a continuous increase of homes, we still don't have enough to meet the demand. Now let's welcome Chris Barnett from Realty Executives up in Josephine County. Commander Chris Barnett has been a friend of the show for quite a while, and he's now one of the newly elected Josephine County Commissioners, and he's going to talk to us about the market. He's going to talk to us about the election, and we're going to make some predictions for 2025, don't you know? So let's say hi to Mr. Chris Barnett. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Oh, you bet, Alice. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, my friend. So a lot has happened in Josephine County and in your life. Congratulations on winning the election.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, the commissioner position, it's, been campaigning for about a year, almost a year and a half. And I'm glad it's over and I'm actually working now.
Yes, I've been seeing some posts online. You're very, very busy.
Yes, we're very active. We got a brand new board and we want to do good things. And that's why we got elected. So we got to get to work, and we're doing that for the taxpayers. So, you got to do that. And if you're going to run, I tell people, if you have heart, you got to roll with it.
Yes. But it is a lot of work. So before we get into kind of what's going on with the issues, some people don't really understand what a commissioner does. Can we touch on that briefly?
Absolutely. Basically, we're the CEOs of the county. The county has 450 employees. They have department heads, and we provide oversight. So we're elected by the taxpayers. That's why we have checks and balances, because the employees need to be separated from a representative of the public. Because if we don't have that balance, then government gets bigger than the people. And we know that people feel like the government's already big enough. So what we have to do is have checks and balances. So people like myself and others that have stepped up to represent the people, we come in and say, hey, look, the people want us to have oversight over your departments, over your spending, over policy, make sure that things internally aren't creating their own culture. And we actually have policy manuals that the Board of Commissioners creates, and then we make sure that everybody adheres to those policies. So it's I'm very used to it because I come from the Air Force background, still in the auxiliary right now. So I'm used to managing bases, being on there with support staff, and knowing all the departments that it takes to run. And we go off a policy. And if you don't have your oversight and walking into departments and having those superintendents and managers, you lose sight of what's going on. And then pretty soon you have a broken organization and you can't fix it.
So what motivated you to run for commissioner?
Well, actually, what motivated, I've been playing around with this for years. I was going to run for mayor of Grants Pass, and I lived one block outside the boundary, so I could not run
Oh,
for mayor. So people were really concerned where the direction of the country was going. And a lot of people this last election cycle just stepped up. People that never wanted to do this, I never wanted to be in politics, never wanted to do it in my life. I love real estate. I love doing what I'm doing. Why would I step away from that to serve? And basically, Alice, I just have a servant heart. I've been serving people my whole life, public safety, military, community, real estate, we serve. And I just thought it was a good balance to try something different. And I thought I had a lot to bring to the table with my experiences in life. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to put those to work for the county.
well, you're highly organized and you are used to dealing with a lot of different situations simultaneously because of
I
your
juggle.
military.
I
Yeah,
juggle.
yeah, yeah. But between owning a real estate brokerage and your military background, I thought you were well suited organizationally for being a
Well,
commissioner. I was really glad to see you run, and
well, thank you.
yeah,
I
really glad
appreciate
to see
that.
you
I appreciate
win.
that.
Yeah.
Not everybody's candidate won. And I tell everybody, I go, you know, please don't hold that against us if you didn't vote for us. I mean, the majority did. That's why we're in. But the people that didn't, we got to win them over and tell them, hey, give us a chance. I know we weren't your choice, but we're instead of being angry about it, I tell people it's counterproductive. Let's meet my other colleagues, and let's see if we can get back on track and do a reset. And that's been working. I've been meeting with people that didn't vote for me, people that have different views, and I think we can build those bridges, but we got to start somewhere.
So what are the issues in Josephine County, Grants Pass area?
Well, in our county, a lot of people don't want to lose their freedoms, and that seemed to be a huge item. People feel a little suppressed. I think COVID started all this. It really did. And the people down here in Jackson and Josephine County, both, were conservative counties. And most of the people here just want to be left alone and do what's right and have their freedoms, right? Just like in real estate, people love their property rights. And I think people feel like, I hate saying it, but Salem and, comes down on the rest of the people because they're Salem, and the state just really, I love this state. Okay. I live here. But however, let's not control us because you like it up there. I don't mind you doing things in your counties, but in our county down here, let us run things the way the people want it run. And of course, have some boundaries. However, I think that was one of the main reasons we have a big problem with that. So people were afraid of their freedoms being taken away. They're also wanted a voice. So they're afraid of some of our past representatives way back and have just never showed up at things and weren't engaging. And they've designated me as the Mr. PR guy on our board Because I said, hey, I want unity in the community. How do we do that? I said, Chris, go for it. You're good at that. And I have colleagues, two other commissioners that are really good at what they do. So if we have a diverse board like we do right now, boy, hey, you're better at that. Why don't you handle that? I'm better at this, or I like to do it. Let me do this. And that is how a team works. And I feel like we're just going into 30 days, 1 month. I mean, it's the last day of January. We're going into February tomorrow. And I feel like our team's coming together. It's going to take more time, but that's how you win. That's how you win. You build a good team.
Well, that is so exciting. So dividing up the workload among the commissioners, first of all, how many commissioners are there?
Three appointed, not appointed. We have 2 elected officials, and we had to hire and appoint a commissioner because one of our commissioners got recalled. So we had to do a hiring our second week in office.
So, but you're fully staffed.
Fully staffed and getting to know all of our departments. We have department heads and they run their departments. You got, public works, you got public health, you got the sheriff's department, you got surveyor, assessor, you got all these different departments, and you get to know them because they're the ones that are paid really well to manage their departments. They're department heads. We come in with a balance of 3 to make sure that they have equal hearsay, not hearsay, when they have their grievances, that they can come to the board and we can not just be a board of 1, but a board of 3 to vote yes or no on things. So it's fair.
And we've got so much to cover. Commissioner Chris Barnett joining us today on the Real Estate Show. Thank you so much. We do have to take a quick break and say thank you to our sponsors. We are thankfully brought to you by John L. Scott, Ashland, and Medford, the local Rogue Valley Association of Realtors, and Guy Giles from Mutual Mortgage. We appreciate you all bringing the show to the airways every week, and we'll be right back with a quick word from our sponsors. Well, welcome back, real estate fans, to the Real Estate Show. I'm Alice Lema with John L. Scott locally, and we're talking to now Commissioner Chris Barnett, and he's from Executive Realty and our go-to person in Josephine County. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, thank you, Alice. I'm sure you have some real estate questions because
well, it's been a weird market for the last couple of years. What's it been like for you up in Josephine County?
I think last year was one of our worst years on record. And the reason why I say that, I've been doing this 25 years, and last year was just bizarre. People were scared to make the move. Interest rates went up, values kept going up, the economy was going spiraling, just out of control. And people were just feeling a little bit of a crunch. And I think people just got a little gun shy, and I mean scared of making a purchase or selling their home, didn't know where they wanted to go, didn't know. They were waiting till the president got elected in November.
Yeah.
I really feel when we do real estate, every 4 years, we kind of go through this. Hey, what's going to happen when President Trump lost in 2020 and Biden came in? I said, uh-oh, there's going to be some changes coming. Just be prepared. It may not happen immediately. And it did. It took 2 years, and then we started seeing things happen.
Yeah. And it was more so than a lot of elections. People were really stepping back and not making a decision.
Correct. Let's see if the interest rates go down. So interest rates, it's a big deal for the first-time home buyers and people that are previous buyers that know the rates were down low near 3% when the good days were happening. Not saying we can't return to those, but people really, when you got a good thing and it doesn't, you always hope it comes back, kind of like gas prices. I hope they come back to 50 cents again. Well, I don't think that's happening. Okay. So you're going to still have to drive your automobile. So you're just going to have to be more careful on your driving. And I think everybody's habits, and fuel does spark a big economy boost for people. I've noticed that when gas prices are low, people spend more money. And
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
It's a psyche. And I've noticed that in hotels and travel and amusement parks. If gas is down, people drive. But if not, people got a little like, you know what, we won't go this year, we'll go next year. And those businesses suffered because of that. So I'm hoping gas prices will come down. I know President Trump's agenda is make a lot of changes, been in just a couple of weeks, and we're seeing a lot of changes happen really quick. And I pray for every president that's in there. I mean, if you're voted in by the people, I really wish them
Yeah,
well. So I tell people, don't hate. I gave Biden that chance and I didn't vote for him, but I gave him a chance. And I
yeah.
said, well, let's see what you can do. Maybe I don't know something. And we got to do that with President Trump as well. And he's coming back for the second time, so he's not new.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they lead all of us. So,
Mhm.
regardless of how you voted, let's support who's in the office
Absolutely. In any
and
office. Yeah,
yep,
in any
and
office.
respect the office. So, let's talk a little bit more about last year in real estate. Who was buying and who was selling? Like, what were the profile people? What are the examples of who actually dipped their toe in the real estate market last year?
People that were cash buyers. So I saw
Aha.
a lot more cash buyers step up to the plate. They didn't have to deal with the interest rates. People that were on the market for a while were a little bit more motivated and they didn't have to go through the loan process. The investors came out. People that could afford it were still moving. So those people I saw definitely were our buyers mainly. I saw a lot more cash buyers. Loans, they were a little bit more difficult. And I saw that people were a little bit scared of paying all these closing costs, as you know. Of course, our rules changed in what, September of last
Oh,
year,
yeah,
and
then there was that.
buyers brokers agreements, and people were afraid to sign these forms, still are, about paying you a commission. And even though you're like, hey, no, you don't have to pay nothing up front, it all comes down later on. And but people are not used to that commitment factor. They're like, well, I want to use anybody I want. I don't want to have to just be exclusive, right? We all
Right.
know that. I just
Hmm.
worked with one yesterday. I've been working with for a year, and hey, I got found a house, and I'm like, oh, great, where did you find it? I We've been working with her for a year, so it's just that they just don't have that commitment to you, and they forget that they want you to be happy for them, and I'm happy for they got a house. However, it's kind of like, well, you kind of weren't loyal to me. So how do we fix that as realtors? Because and these are people that I know. I think these buyer brokers agreements might fix some of that. It's a little bit more intimidating. Like, hey, don't go buy something without me first.
Well, and it's a huge education. I was surprised at how many of the buyers and sellers locally did not know that the rules had changed. It was a huge
Yeah,
education.
huge education, and people that have been in the business like you and me and others. Um, Sometimes change takes a little bit of a learning curve, and to produce those new habits. The new agents out there, this is all they know. But for us, we're like, oh yeah, back in the good old days, we didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to talk like that now, and I'm like, oh, that means I've been in the business for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So if the buyers were more in the cash category, who was selling?
So the people that were selling was various people that wanted to move out of state. I saw a lot of people not
Aha.
moving within Oregon. They're moving to Tennessee, Texas, Florida, Arkansas. I saw more of the southern states that people were moving to. Arizona was one of them too. Not a lot of them were staying on the West Coast, and it was either some values had changed for them, or they didn't feel right for whatever reason. I think if you want to go into politics with that, some people just felt like they were freer in other states than they were in certain states. And the West Coast aligns pretty well, as you know, Washington, Oregon, California. We're predominantly a blue state, and there are different systems of values that people may adopt that are different from going to a state like Florida.
Hmm.
Where Florida, gosh, I go there a lot and I like it. And I have to say, I feel a little free sometimes, freer, not free, but freer. And I just mean that Oregon has some strict rules on environmental stuff and what you can do with your land. And we're we're in real estate. So, some of the complications when people want to build on their property or do their dream. sometimes it gets hampered by some regulation, and that comes from the state and local levels. And we're trying to loosen that up a little bit. But we need good people at the state level to really represent us here locally. And some good people did get elected.
Well, and how much of people's personal finances played into moving out of state, regardless of their politics? Because some of those states you just mentioned are financially freer, more business friendly, that kind of thing. Did you hear any scuttlebutt from the sellers about that aspect?
Well, yeah, I mean, look at Dutch Bros. Headquarters in Grants Pass,
Right?
shut down, moved to Arizona.
To
So I did
Arizona.
Arizona as their headquarters. They went corporate. Of course, Travis Portsmouth sold, and it went to the stock market and the corporate office. Now they relocated everything to Arizona, Phoenix area, I
And what
believe.
was the financial difference? I mean, what were the issues, the financial issues that played into Dutch Bros leaving Oregon?
Well, I think that they are in a bigger city. The airport was a huge factor. The Grants Pass Airport just can't
Oh,
handle. It's
right.
geographically not as commerce friendly, if you will. I know Dutch Bros spent a lot of money at the Grants Pass Airport. I was there. They have a hangar. They now leased it out to somebody else, so they don't do all their corporate flying out of here anymore as they used to. Now the owner, Travis, the past owner, Travis, he still has a role in Dutch Bros, but he's kind of out of it now. He stepped down when he went corporate. So all those people that did work here, I mean, the headquarters closed. And those employees got a relocation package, from what I understand. And I sold some of those houses, and they said, "Hey, yeah, I got to sell my house. I'm moving down there." And Dutch Bros was helping them with that. So there were some incentives to move down to the Phoenix area, or where Dutch Bros wanted to
Well, I'm
base their
really asking the
operations.
right person. You were just in the thick of it.
Yeah, well, I just got a tour of our airport, and I got a little bit of the Dutch Bros story because they helped out extend our runway. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate that. And he wanted to fly bigger jets out of there. So in order to do that for his aircraft, he had to extend the runway. So thank you for
Wow.
helping our local
Well,
airport.
see,
But
that shows an amazing amount of commitment from a business owner, a local
oh,
business owner.
yeah, and I know Travis. I've known him from, gosh, when he started. And he's done amazing things. And I knew when they went corporate on the stock market, it was going to change because it was family owned and operated, and it was just a different culture. And the culture is still there in a different way, but I feel like Grants Pass lost something, and they
Oh,
did.
huge.
Yeah, they
Huge.
did. So, but thank you for that. But that's one of the things that I saw, that economic impact of the sellers. So,
Yeah, well, and it's so fun that now you're a commissioner and a real estate broker and a real estate brokerage owner. I've got lots
yeah.
more questions, but we got to go commercial
Okay.
break. We're talking to Commissioner Chris Barnett from Realty Executives, our go-to person in Josephine County. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to the Real Estate Show, folks. We're talking to Commissioner Chris Barnett from Realty Executives. Welcome back, Chris.
Hey, thank you, Alice. We're back.
We're back. We're back. So it's really fun to talk to somebody who's in politics and on the real estate side, and you have a military background. That is such an incredible trilogy, if you will, of attitude and skill set. And Josephine County is really lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you, Alice. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
So let's talk about 2025 now. We touched a little bit on last year. What do you see coming forward? We have a different vibe in the leadership of our country. How do you think that's going to affect real estate in general and specifically Southern Oregon?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I really feel, give it mid-year, give it until about May or June, and when the president gets everything in place. But I'm excited. There is an energy, synergy, if you will, people excited, ready to do something big. And I think it was And I look at President Trump's America First plan and what he wants to accomplish in the first 100 days. And whether you like it or not, I think the benefit for the United States is going to move forward. We can't move backwards. Nobody wants to go backwards. So I'm really excited about the real estate world, Alice, because I think things are going to pick up. I think interest rates, I don't think they're going to drop that much because they got to control things that way with the inflation. So I think they're going to drop a little bit. We're going to get stimulated somehow, some way. And when it happens, we're all going to see a jump in buyers that are going to start looking. And then we need to get our sellers to be prepared to get their homes on the market and get ready. Because if they are ready to move, this could be the year for them wherever they want to move. It could be within the community. It's just that people have got to make those moves. I'm seeing a lot of contingency offers and people that need to sell that want to move, and sellers don't like contingencies offers. It's better than nothing, and we will do them. However, I'm a big firm believer in the 48-hour first right of refusal. It means, hey, if you put your home on the market, we'll hold it to you. But if we get another offer, we'll give you a couple days to see if your home gets under contract. And I like using that. And sometimes I'll do the 30 days. I'll give you a flat. My seller will give them a flat 30 days. Hey, we'll give you a chance. 30 days. We won't look at any offers. Get your home under contract. And then after that, we'll kick in the 48-hour first strike.
So a lot of people don't know how that active contingent works. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you touch on, explain kind of what that whole scenario is? Because it's very valuable.
It is. And so I want to buy a home and I've got to sell my home. I don't have the money because it's all wrapped up in my home. So we tell a seller, hey, look, please accept my offer. If we could come to agreements on price and terms, I will put my home on the market tomorrow. So, however, the seller's got to be okay with it, and you can ask for 48-hour first right, which means that in any other offers that come in while you're trying to sell your home, if we get another offer from another agent, then, hey, Mr. Buyer or Mrs. Buyer, I'm giving you 48 hours to remove that contingency of you getting your home in contract. So if you get an offer and you accept an offer, because you'll be a little bit more motivated, you're going to say, hey, look, please stop it. I'm going to buy your house. We just got to go through inspections and stuff like that. Then you can stop the clock. And then you are an active, valid buyer like everybody else.
Well, and it gives you that extra, it separates the process a little bit so that it's not one big step. It puts it into some baby steps, as we say.
Correct. And there's really no risk in either sellers to do this because they're like, well, I don't want to lose it. Well, if you can't buy it, you're going to lose it anyway. So it doesn't cost you anything to make an offer. It doesn't cost you anything to hold it up for a little bit of time if you are in a good position to do that. So I tell people there's really low risk, but I've done many of those. Get your home on the market and you better price it in the market, because if the sellers don't price their homes to get an offer on their home to buy something else, they may miss out on that home that they want. That's all.
Can we talk about price for a little bit, because there's a wide variety right now for such a strange market.
We're more top heavy. I tell everybody in Jackson.
Top heavy. That's a good word.
I call it top heavy. We have more homes 500 and above. Okay. 500,000 and above than we do 500 and below. So the 500 and below, they move. They seem to move 350 to 500. That market moves. And then 500 and above, you got so many houses to choose from. It's like, well, why are these homes all in the 500 and above range? So that's why I use the term top heavy.
Why is that, Chris?
Because everybody thinks we're gold. Okay. Our real estate market went so berserk for a while there. People want to get what their neighbors did. They want to get what 6 years ago brought them. And I'm like, or COVID years, 2020, for example, where people had time on their hands and they were shopping. It was just a weird year. It was a great year for real estate in 2020, 2021 as well. It just, people just don't understand that good things have to mellow out. It's like the stock market. Bitcoin, for example. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have bought. We would have been billionaires today, right? And I didn't believe in it. And I bought some, but it was nothing compared. Oh, I did, but it was like, wasn't worth as much as if you bought it at $1 or whatever. They went to $100,000. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, I don't even believe it. Yeah.
I can't even fathom it, but I know friends that bought it and they're probably millionaires right now, multimillionaires. And I'm like, okay, good for them, but you can't predict the future.
Yeah. And
So
that was a
sort of
super high risk investment.
super, and it's still volatile. You never know what's going to
Yeah, it is.
happen.
Yeah.
It's not tangible. You don't have it. It's out there, and it's just different.
Yeah. But home prices, it's again, it's another education thing where
Yes.
the prices in any market, they don't go straight up with any regularity. It's ebb and flow, ebb and flow.
It does. And real estate goes up and down, kind of like the stock market does. You'll see a big corporation, their stocks will be down, and then all of a sudden they're in a growth curve and stocks will go up, and then they kind of plateau and the stocks will go back down because they can't just keep going up and up and up and up. It's going to plateau. And when it plateaus, that's when people bought too high and then they can't sell their home. So, for instance, when people bought in the height of the market back in '08 and '05, '06, '07, when we had the foreclosure market, people paid top dollar just to get a house. Market went down. They paid, let's say, 600,000 for a home. I'm telling them they can only get 400. Do they want to hear that? No. They're like, I'm in the hole, Chris. I can't sell. I have a mortgage. So we had to do a lot of short sales back then, and we haven't
Yeah,
done
we
those
did.
since then. But I had to learn short sales, I had to learn foreclosures to stay afloat as a realtor because things weren't the norm. And but I tell people, I go, so you're going to live here until maybe we can get back up to 600 to get your equity out of it, so they can just move. And real estate's supposed to be a long-term investment anyway. It was a
Right.
normal average, like our parents and stuff. 30 years, I lived in the home, I own it free and clear, and then they hope to sell it someday and make triple the value, let's say.
Well, and fortunately in Southern Oregon, your dreams can come true in that department, maybe not triple, but we
Yeah.
do hold our value and we're a very desirable area, which is why people still move here.
Yes, and that was one thing that I have to bring up that's not a positive, but we did a big town hall meeting last night regarding Senate Bill 762. That's that wildfire hazard map.
Oh, how did that go?
Full house. We had like 800 to 1,000 people at the fairgrounds
Wow.
last night.
Not
People are
surprised.
scared. People are scared of the insurance on their homes. So we sell homes, right? But it really is discouraging when you can't get it insured.
Hmm.
You can't get fire insurance. So we've ran into some of those issues, and people are just scared. The Department of Forestry sent out these letters to everybody
Yes,
saying,
they
hey,
did.
they did. So what we're trying to do as counties right now is we're trying to bark up the tree and cease and desist, if you will, to stop this from going forward. Because
Really?
oh yeah, there is a big movement. There's an appeals process. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see we posted videos and stuff and how to peel those letters that you got about, hey, stop. We don't want this to happen. It's going to be detrimental to Southern Oregon and other counties within the state. So basically, they're saying we're in a high risk fire area. And Medford had their fires, as you know, in Central Point and stuff. And Josephine County's had their fair share in the mountains. So they think that we're the next target. So they're being very selective on who they give insurance to. So it's scary. Don't want to panic anybody. Everything's going okay right now, but there are things coming down, and we got to fight this SB 762. So please get on board to fight that. Yes.
Yes, we're talking to Commissioner Chris Barnett. Well, welcome back, folks, to the Real Estate Show. We're talking to Commissioner Chris Barnett, Realty Executives. Thank you for being on the show again. We love having you, Chris.
Oh, thank you, Alice.
And right before the break, you started talking about the fire insurance thing and the town hall meeting that you had. Can we go back to that for a little bit?
Yes, the Forestry Department sent out these letters, certified letters to residents and see if you were in a hazard area and how this wildfire hazard map is going to affect you. For instance, I live on 4 acres with no forestry trees on it at all. Okay, I have an irrigation canal right by me. It's mainly pasture that's not going to burn anything, and I'm in a high risk area. How could that be?
Wow.
So other people are complaining about the same thing, going, "Hey, I've got defensive space. I've got a little moat. I don't think a fire will hit my home like that." And this OSU, Oregon State University, came out with this map about 3, 4 years ago, and we've been fighting it, pushing it away, saying it's not right, it's not fair. How could somebody out with pasture be in a high risk area when there's no forest around them?
And you have water
So
nearby
well, correct. And I got water nearby. I have
most of the
defensive.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but they're really, I don't know if Paradise, California started all this. I think it did. Power lines out there and it started the fire and really hurt Paradise, California. So they're looking at some of these smaller rural cities, Grants Pass, Medford area, some of these less than 1 million populated cities going, hey, we don't want to have to do payouts. And so it's a risk. And you know what happens if you're high risk? You pay higher premiums. And people don't want to pay triple or quadruple for fire insurance,
Well,
and
and
that's the reality.
the way the state of Oregon is going about it is not very buttery.
Well, and that's why the citizens spoke last night. We had up to almost 1,000 people. I think they said 800. It was standing room only, packed, the most people I've ever seen at the Evergreen Building at the fairgrounds, ever. And if you see the pictures online, the news did a story on it last night. And people are concerned. These are real rural residential in the city and out in the country that own homes. And we live in Oregon. The
Yes.
symbol on our license plate's a tree. Okay. So it's counterproductive when we're Tree City, USA in Grants Pass. And I'm like,
Right.
so you promote us planting trees, but now you're telling us that we're high risk because we're planting trees. So that means you want us to cut all our trees down. You want us to log. Tell us how we can do the balance. It doesn't make
So
any sense.
yeah. So is there any conversation about reinstating some logging?
Oh yeah, so that's a huge thing. I believe that that was a staple of my dad growing up. Was he worked in the mills? We were a mill community, and when the spotted owl came in, my dad got laid off, and we didn't know how to deal with that, and it was embarrassing. My dad was very proud and hard worker and sole income provider for our family. And when the spotted owl, I'm like, Dad, how can an owl stop humanity from living? And I just couldn't understand that as a kid. And then I understand there's a balance. I'm all for nature and living here together, but
Yeah, we all are.
priorities, yeah, we all are. I think everybody wants to go into a balance thing. I mean, I love animals. It's just I didn't understand how that affected us logging. I guess we replant now. I see the forest replant. We're a renewable resource in Oregon. We are the leader, and we're taking that away and giving it to Canada, and I don't think that's right.
So, since you grew up here and I didn't, during the logging season, I've had old timers tell me that they didn't have those big forest fires. Is that true?
You know what? I think growing up, I just don't think we knew with social media and how news is just so readily available now,
Uh-huh.
apps and stuff. Don't think we had as many fires growing up. I remember not breathing the smoke and stuff we do on a yearly
Because you
basis
would
now
have
when it comes
remembered
in.
that.
I would have remembered, yeah. So I've been here, went to Hidden Valley High School. So I don't remember the fires being that bad. But here's the thing. The Forestry Department, the BLM have not managed their forest. So they are not, when there's a fire, it goes through, clean it up, thin it out, selectively log. They're not doing that. So they want to hog the land, the federal government does, and it's in our county. And they, instead of giving it back to the taxpayers locally and let them manage it, they're not managing it. So come on,
Mhm.
federal government. I'm sorry, but this is our money.
Mhm.
These are our lands, and a lot of blame is on the federal government, BLM land and forestry in general, and those employees, they would love to make things better, but they're tied.
Yeah.
So the Congress and the Senate, they need to work together to go, hey, let's manage our forest better, and we won't have these fires like we have them.
Yeah. So how can you influence those bigger entities, those bigger government agencies as grants past commissioners?
Well, so everything is a leadership change. So we're kind of like the governors of our counties. So
Mhm.
we have Association of Counties, and then we have our state representatives, we have state senators. So we go to the state level with them. Then on the federal level, we have our federal senators, like Congressman, let's say Cliff Bentz. He's been great. He's the one that sits in Washington at a desk, and some of the other senators that represent the state and congressmen. And they're the ones at the federal level that have the best voice for us. We do not have the voice. All we can do is channel it up. And I tell people, I can't do it. I wish I could wave a magic wand, but that's why government starts locally, cities,
Mhm.
counties, states, and then federal. And you just got to understand that. Once you understand it, you understand how it works. But me, before getting into politics and all that, you really don't understand how it all works. You just think you're a leader and you can just do it.
Mhm.
It's not
Mhm.
always that easy, you know.
Mhm. Well, the chain of
But
communication, right?
yeah, chain of command and chain of communication. Exactly right. And I think we have some good representatives that are going to do great things in 2025. I think the real estate market's going to really take off. I think people need to be prepared and be positive and watch good things to come.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're thinking of selling your home, and you're up in the Josephine County area, give Chris a call. So, Chris, can you give sellers, if they're on the fence about selling, give them some ideas about how to get ready so that they can take advantage of the new market coming?
Absolutely. Make sure you do an assessment of the outside of the house. Make sure you moss off the roof. Make sure it's painted. Make sure it's aesthetically looking great. Yard. Get all the rubbish around of it. Declutter. Make it presentable. Pretend you're taking a dirty car in the mud to the car wash.
Oh, that's
And
good.
I use that analogy. I said, do you think the shiny car is going to sell first, or do you think the dirty car? It's the same
That's very
car.
Southern Oregon too.
Very Southern Oregon. And I said, hey, just make it look good, make it shine. And that's the best thing you can do to get your home on the market. So us realtors can walk in and show the property and get you a sale quicker.
And that doesn't take that much effort, getting the
No.
outside spruced up. That's surprisingly affordable.
And I tell people you sometimes got to spend money to make money. So if you need to hire it out, hire it out. I have a lot of people say I don't have the time or I don't have the help. Hire the help out because that small little investment of hiring a carpet cleaner, a professional cleaner, pressure washer is small. You'll get paid back for it.
Yeah, yeah, and it'll look good instantly. So
It will. That's one of our hardest struggles.
what about the inside? What are some tips for the inside to get ready?
That's where our realtors, us, we need to go in as advisors and go, hey, you need to stop smoking in your house. Hey, you need to declutter. Hey, you need to probably get rid of that Coke collection that's all over the place. Make it. I mean, we want to depersonalize a house as much as possible because make it as neutral as you can. We're not telling you to get rid of your stuff. It's just if you could box some of that and you're prepared to move, just temporarily box it up and then you can display it at your new home. But right now, you're trying to sell the home, not live in the home anymore. You see where I'm going with
So
that one?
that's a mindset change, isn't it?
It's a
Can you talk about
mindset
that?
change.
We only have a couple minutes left, but
Okay.
the
All right.
mindset of
Well,
it's not your house anymore.
correct. And that's what you got to retrain them to do. I do have one special thing.
Yes,
Alice,
go for it.
tonight, 6 o'clock, 169 years of the birthday of Josephine County. We just had our birthday. The courthouse is 109 years old, which I'm in right now. You can't miss it on 6th Street. Tonight at 6, we're going to have a surprise ceremony. You're going to love it. And it's for the
Wow.
town, for the
Wow.
community. Yep,
And that's probably on social media too, so we can probably reshare that.
correct.
Oh, we definitely
It's
will.
on the Josephine County Board of Commissioners site. We have a press release on it.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Barnett, if somebody wants to talk to you, we just have a few seconds left. How do they get a hold of you?
They can call me 541-660-5195. Google me, just type in Chris Barnett, Realtor, Grants Pass. I will be found somewhere in that Google search. So that's the best way to probably find me.
Well, we appreciate you so much, and congratulations again on winning the election for Josephine
Thank you.
County Commissioner.
Thank
And
you, Allison. Thanks for having me. Thanks for all you do for educating the community about real estate. I'm proud to be a part of it on your show. So thank you for having me.
thank you so much. And we'd love to have you back later in the year
Sure,
to recap
anytime.
some of these issues, including the fire. Will you come back?
Yes, we're all in this together.
Great. Well, that's our show for this week, folks. Thanks for joining us. Have a beautiful Southern Oregon weekend. Bye now.